Once upon a time, there were millions of businesses struggling. Every day, they wasted time, effort, and energy on repetitive tasks that added no value. One day, the Better Automation podcast by PROCESIO came to help them find the way. Because of this, these businesses save time, reduce costs, innovate, and make better decisions. Because of that, these businesses grow, scale, and use human creativity to change this world. Hello, my name is Aziz, and I'm your host at Better Automation Podcast by PROCESIO, where I interview the world's top experts and share their very best ideas on how to improve automation in your business, processes, and life. My guest today is Marco Delia. Marco is a public figure, a social media influencer, an actor, a singer, a male model, an MMA fighter, a fragrance enthusiast, a self development lover, an entrepreneur. He is Mr. World Italy and a big believer in the power of social media for business growth and social impact. He has over 200,000 followers on TikTok and 29,000 on YouTube. Marco, how are you today?
Hello, guys. Hello, Aziz. Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks for the amazing introduction. It looks like I'm doing everything on this world with your introduction. So, thanks a lot for that. And it's all good. It's all good. Thank you.
I probably missed a few things that we could add to like a yogi and someone who's interested in health and supplements that are natural supplements and all that. But okay, TikTok, social media, yes, there was for some time a stigma about it for business people where they thought it's not really going to happen or it's not the future. Now everybody's using it, but there are places like TikTok where people are not sure. People are thinking, should I use paid ads on social media? Does organic social media actually work? Tell me your perspective on how useful can social media and things like TikTok can be for a business service or someone who's interested to for things that are not just for entertainment.
All right. TikTok is a great tool. Every social media, each one of them, they have a different purpose. So normally we want to use YouTube to create a community, to create and give some information. So it's more of value kind of platform. We want to use Instagram or Facebook if we want to create a network. So if we want to message other people and create a community around stories and the content you post. But for example, if you want to create discoverability, TikTok right now is one of the best one whatsoever. Like the shareability and the factor that you can be viral even with the first video that you post is amazing. So businesses, if they don't want to use TikTok, they are missing on a great opportunity right now because it's not gonna be as easy as it is with TikTok now. Maybe in the future with another platform, but we don't know.
How should the content strategy of a business be on TikTok? How can they think about it? Should they try to grow big enough to create some ads or focus on the paid advertisements? Who should they target? I mean, how can a business have a proper strategy and content calendar for TikTok?
All right, TikTok is such a different kind of social media. It's different from any other one. The cool thing is that if you go to the TikTok ads website, you can clearly see their slogan is "Don't create ads, create TikToks," meaning that it's the first platform in which ads could be actually watchable and they don't feel like someone wants to sell you something and that's all. So it's pretty cool. Sometimes I even save some ads because they're so cool. They're made with a major budget instead of other people. So my opinion is to just simply use the phone like every other creator and try to be creative at creating content. This strategy is the same strategy that influencers do, that people that want to grow on TikTok do. So it's not a different strategy from other creators. Businesses have to adopt the same strategy, which is just uh, do what the market wants you to do. So right now it could be a trend, or maybe you post 4 or 5 videos, and then you see that one of the videos go better than the other ones. So just go for that. Keep, try to look for something that works, and then just invest on it 100%. This is what I've done, and I think most of the people that I know that are influencers on TikTok did the same. So they just found that little thing that worked, and they invested on it.
Thank you. That's very useful in business in general, that you make small bets and see what works and then invest more in what is working. And for an executive or a person who is in business, more B2B to understand, they will say, okay, I understand for a direct to consumer brand, maybe TikTok is the best. But for me, who deals with business people, how can TikTok really help me? Is it for them or mostly for direct to consumer brands?
I think it's more for consumers than business people. There are still a lot of people that actually consume business content and that are business related, even more right now, and they keep growing. It's not just like a few years ago in which TikTok was just for kids to make some dance videos. Now, every kind of niche in every kind of language is there, besides some countries. So I think it's you can create some content and still try. I think the strategy doesn't change. Uh, Even if you post something for other businesses and it's not for consumers, I think the strategy doesn't change. You just have to. I mean, the cool thing about TikTok is that you have a feedback very quick. So it's not like another business or another social media in which you have to post like YouTube and you have to wait for a few months or even a few weeks. Or with a business, you have to wait even a few years to see if it works. On TikTok, it's pretty much in terms of hours or even a day. You can see what works and what not. So there, the guessing game isn't valuable at all. So you don't have to guess, you just have to find what people wants to see in that specific moment, in that specific niche. Doesn't matter if they're businesses, doesn't matter if they are people. Behind a business, there's always people. So they consume it the same way as other people. So I think that you just have to find that needs that misses and just fill it.
Thank you. And how to do that? Is it you look into what's going viral and you copy it, or you're creatively trying many, many ideas and many of them will fail and a few will work? Or how to approach it? Is it as a copying person, as an innovator who's failing a lot, or you just find a few things that work and you keep on repeat, repeat, repeat until they stop working?
I mean, those are different strategies. You can try them all. Every one of them worked, and I tried them all. And I think that in the beginning, in the first time, if you start from zero, from scratch, I think that not copying, but modeling from other people's content that worked, that's what worked the best. So, for example, even just changing the language. One of my friend who is an influencer from Chile, he with his girlfriend try to model some content that was viral in the United States and try to do it in Spanish. And they went viral, and now they have millions of followers and they monetize it. So that thing really worked. Whenever you start having some community around it, so whenever you start having people that follow you, so your views doesn't just come from the For You page, but they come also from your following, then I think you can start maybe testing around, or even just in the beginning, test around with 20% of what you're doing, just test around what works, maybe try to create something new, be creative, see if a kind of kind of content works best. Maybe you try a voiceover and it works more. Maybe you try not speaking, just with written words, and it works more. So I think it's just a matter of 20% testing and 80% just modeling from what works, and even modeling from what worked, that you've done. So not just from other people.
Thank you. And I was speaking to an AI expert about singularity, which is supposed to be when AI becomes smarter than humans or as smart. And he said, I don't believe that will happen. what will happen is you will need to reinvent yourself and create fresh content that is new so fast that it's almost like every hour or every minute you need to be so creative and creating something that didn't exist before, and that's really really exhausting, but AI can help with that. Do you believe this will happen? Do you believe this is what's happening in social media, that there is such big competition that even things that used to be okay to do every week, now you have to do every day something fresh and new and exciting, and both modeling what worked but with a twist that is new and different? Or you think actually a lot of people are don't understand social media, so they're just throwing content out there, and if you know what you're doing, you're not really competing with millions of users?
It really depends on the kind of image that you want to have online. So, for example, if you're a doctor and you want to make health content, health-related content, maybe more for business people, or just to monetize it and create a community, you can even skip trends. You can try just to make content that goes well and testing and just going all the way on it. But if you are more into the entertainment system, that's just trends. So on TikTok specifically, they just work on trends. So you have to be constantly on the platform to see what's the new trend, or even with some agencies, they can help you find trends or some sounds before they are released. Or even just launching trends. The big influencers there, they are the one that launch the trends. So yeah, I think AI could be useful. I think the human brain works very complexly. I don't know how to say it in English. Sorry for my English, but I think it's very complex, and I think that every day something can change, but you cannot beat the work ethic. Meaning that you have to put the work. You can try many shortcuts, but if AI can help you, remember that it can help anyone. So if anyone is good, nobody's good. So you have always to find that thing to be different.
Thank you. And when it comes to social media, there are two schools of thought, more or less. Some that say, like Gary Vee, you should create an infinite amount of content on infinite like channels to, I don't know, if you can make 24 or 48 TikToks per day, you should do that. While some others say actually quality is very important, so you should spend maybe a whole week tweaking and working on a few seconds of a TikTok, make something amazing that looks professional, is really well edited, well done with like all kinds of motion graphics and cool stuff on a new subject or something that is really unique. So, which one do you believe actually leads to the most growth and results? Is it quantity and as much quantity with an okay quality level? I'm not saying like bad TikToks, or to make something really, 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 really amazing that takes more time and therefore you have less content.
I was a very big fan of Gary Vee and all his strategy. I read his books and I loved them. And I went since the almost the start of my social media career. I started creating content with his method. So just creating content, a lot of hustle, work ethic, and keep going, keep going. The more you create, the better it is. Quantity over quality. And I think that after a couple of years, 3 years of doing it, I noticed that what he meant was not exactly, what people think. So I don't think, like, I started doing exactly what he was saying. So posting so many content per day. I was posting one day for a month. I tried to post 10 videos on TikTok per day. And let me tell you, I grew a little bit and then I stopped growing. And after a while, I noticed that the people that started following me, they didn't even care too much about me. And so I stopped growing because I stopped listening. It was kind of weird. So I started posting more quality content and I started seeing more growth. Now my strategy is to post quality content on some kind of content. so a balance, and some quantity content on some other kind of content. So, for example, I could post as many stories on Instagram as I want to create content. I can post two, three, four, five TikToks per day if I want, speaking about fragrances. But if I want to talk about something more important, or if I want to make a YouTube video, then I want to stay there, maybe give it a little more time and do what works. Because I think that what Gary Vee actually intended is not that you just have to create content and you will grow, is that you will not grow in terms of followers, in terms of social media. You will grow in terms of experience. So if you post 1,000 videos, you grow, as Gary Vee says, but not in terms, I posted 1,000 videos and now I'm famous. No, you know now how it is, how it's the experience to create 1,000 videos. So now you know what works, now you know what doesn't work, now you know how to make videos, how to edit them even quickly, you know how to speak in front of the camera. So I think it's more of that. In the beginning, maybe it's better to post more and to see what works. But then once you find what works, once you have your community, I think it's better to have a balance between them. So focus more on quality so that people, whenever you post, they are craving for your content instead of just, oh, it's just another post of today.
Thank you. That's really interesting and wise. And like you said, the experience of doing what Gary Vee said is what led you to understand that if you didn't do it, you wouldn't have been able to realize what he truly meant. And I remember for you, a lot of people struggle to even have 500 followers on TikTok or whatever. But you think that it's possible? It's not so hard to reach thousands of followers on TikTok. What would be a simple strategy for someone to do that? Just not to have millions of followers or whatever, but to reach maybe 5,000 or 10,000 on TikTok.
I mean, it's pretty easy. You just have to figure out first what you want to create content about. So, for example, fragrances, perfumes. You create 3 pieces of content about fragrances in 3 different teams, 3 different kind of content. So maybe one you do a review, in another one you do an unboxing. So 3 different kinds of content, but just about fragrances. You see what works more, and you invest in what works more. If none of them work, just go to the For You page, search for fragrance related content, see what worked there, and model that content. That's it.
Thank you, Marco. This was my privilege and my honor. And for all businesses trying to grow, I highly recommend PROCESIO. So they should check it out. PROCESIO is the modern low code, no code platform for advanced automation and creating an enterprise grade backend for your software. You can request access to a totally free account at procesio.app that will help you a whole lot. And for those who need more, who want to upgrade, there is a very generous 50% off discount code. It's better 50 off, one word in capital letters that they can use. And that is wonderful. Links and more in the description. Thank you, Marco. This was my privilege, my honor, and I actually learned a lot. So thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, guys.